Okay. If there's one franchise I can admit that grew up alongside me, it's this one, Despicable Me 2 in particular. That was, I think, one of the first animated films I remember watching in the theaters, along with Epic in 2013. Does anyone remember that film, Epic? And although 2 out of the last 3 films that came out from this IP, from my memory at least, they haven't been the greatest. And that's also not saying that the first 2 films were incredible. They were fun, they were colorful, they were funny sometimes, and made Illumination a ton of money. And see, I thought the Rise of Gru film was alright, so maybe this would be a step in the right direction. Chris Reynolds, who did the first 2 films, is back directing, but I'm talking about why I love these films and why I can tolerate that 3rd film. Despicable Me 1. I don't know what it is about this film, as much as I always try to hate it, as it's the one I did not see originally at its time of release. I watched this like later on. I just wanted to hate it and it to be this bad film, but ironically it's actually one of the best in the series. Maybe it's the fact that we actually have an antagonist in this that isn't there for like the B or C plot.
Vector! That's me, because I'm committing crimes with both direction and magnitude.
Also gives Gru this personal vendetta against him since he's that nepotism baby, or maybe it's because it's the full 180 we see of Gru's character, turning from this despicable character to this fairly likable dude. But like, for real, who are we kidding? We all love Gru, man. And the strength of the first 2 films, Gru, is the relationship with Gru and the girls. But Gru went through all that stress to recruit these girls to unknowingly carry out his devious plan, when maybe all he could have done was just break into the orphanage and swap out the cookies for the robot ones, rather than... Yeah, I know he was in his villain era, but technically what he did was kidnap 3 teenage girls. Wait, these were not even teenagers, and he sort of groomed them. And the girls are so sweet in this, Agnes in particular. Like, how can you hate her? She's so cute. I love how Gru do the most diabolical things, and she'd be like, I just love you, like, either way. Margot also was really great and really mature too, and just warming up to Gru. Everything was just so heartfelt.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
But Edith, I think she just liked Gru for who it was, to be honest. She always gave up that kind of vibe, but nobody really cares about her. These films never even care about her. But please, why are the 3 girls called that? A child cannot have that kind of name. Like, it has to be locked and unlocked when they reach a particular age. Agnes? Why are you calling a child Agnes? Dr. Nefario in this movie does not really offer anything in any of these films. I guess he's the smart guy that made the cookies and also maybe made the rockets and most of Gru's gadgets. But we saw a young Gru make a rocket in some of the early flashbacks, and this dude couldn't even make the shrink ray that makes Gru go on this long path for nothing. And Gru's original plan was to buy the rocket from the villain bank. So wait, if Gru was able to buy the rocket and just steal the shrink ray, what was the point of Dr. Nefario in any of these films? In this film in particular for now though. Gru doesn't need him, he's just on his bankroll for no reason. But enough of my Dr. Nefario hate, which we all have every right to because awful guy. This is a movie exploring Gru trying to prove himself to his mom. Damn, I can't believe I'm actually analyzing Despicable Me. That is not what I had in mind when I was originally planning this video. But Gru was obviously having his mommy issues and always trying to prove something to her, and goes to this life of crime to somewhat adopt these 3 grannies and trying to prove to her that at least he's also a better parent.
Wow, this is garbage. You actually like this?
Despicable Me 2 will always have my heart. Maybe it's because of what I said at the start of the video, and will always remain one of my favorites in this series because of nostalgia alone. But that first film is just a superior film narratively. But from one mental challenge to another for Gru, and he really struggles with 2 in this film actually. One being the fact that he's bald.
When someone moves into the mall who is follically challenged, I make it my business to know all about them. You are bald, and that is bad.
I never knew this was something of a insecurity for him. I always thought like it was sort of his personality. And the second problem that he struggles with is that he's scared of women.
Touched Lisa! Gru touched Lisa!
And although you see the Lucy relationship here, you pretty much figure out at some point that it's gonna happen, especially considering how nice Lucy is to Gru in the start. Like that talk in the beginning when like after she kidnaps him to join the TVA, no, not the TVA, the AVL, and when like they're being questioned about Ramsbottom. She stands up and defends him, which is really nice on her part. But like, We never really see like any romantic thing between both of them till she crashes his date with that other girl, who they sort of have that moment. But even when they broke into the evil guy's lair, like it was more of like a work relationship kind of thing. It never seemed like it was going to lead to anything. And then she just, after the entire case is done, she leaves to Australia, no questions asked, not even a goodbye. So if anything, Kevin was the one that had his head in the right place with the entire relationship thing. And speaking of the minions, I think because the glorious people on Facebook made them this internet phenomenon, they doubled down on their play in this film and just their involvement as a whole. And I have to say, the minion hate is completely forced. Like, they were the best parts of this film by a mile. I have no idea what they're saying most of the time, but you understand it still, and it's sometimes, though I would admit, it goes over the line. But most of the time it's just hilarious. Bit of a shame that Dr. Nefario, him and Edith, both of my biggest ops in these films, but him for now takes most of them away, so you don't really see a lot of them doing their funny dumb stuff. And even when they were down to the last two, I still think it was pretty great. But Dr. Nefario, still, I don't know why Gru puts up with you. This guy, Dr. Nefario, these past two films, on the bounce, he's been a major cause from all their problems. Like that first film, you're trying to tell me that there is an optimal time to steal the moon. Like, it's the moon, it's not going anywhere, it will always be there. And here too, I was really happy when he left, but stealing these, kidnapping these harmless yellow creatures, he has taken it too far. He has taken it too far, and I will repeat it again. This guy is a fraud. Tell me one smart thing he has done in any of these films. This guy, he didn't even make that purple grimace shake monster serum thing. He didn't even steal it. He was not even involved in stealing of it. It was this guy that did everything, El Macho. And he can't even get mixing jams right. Tell me something this guy can do right. I need to cool off here. Good thing he wasn't even in the third film like at all. Or possibly he's probably not going to be in the fourth film, but probably creative differences. But yeah, the film starts with Agnes having a birthday. She has birthdays but never seems to age. Like, her name Agnes will never be put to use. She's also the star in these films, but this time she really wants a mother, and it must be almost so convenient that Lucy comes into their life at this point, with Margot too also having this love interest. And I just love how Gru is trying to destroy that relationship at all costs, and they both go through this heartbreak stage. I don't know, it's just super cute for me. And Edith, there's nothing ever to talk about her in these films. What's the point of a character but to be a hater?
And they're going on a date!
Finally, the big bad in this film, El Macho, probably could have made this film without him and it would have still worked, but that's just how little he added to the plot. And I think that is why people always turn on this film and always say Vector is better, and they always hate El Macho. But you know what would have made an awesome twist? The chicken that he has would have been controlling him. Like, you know, like evil Rick and Morty style. You with me on this?
What'd he say?
I don't know, something about being gay.
But although that was like a really useless use of the villain you had in this film, I think he brought enough to the story. Even, yeah, I know, I'm contradicting myself, I know. But I think he brought enough to the story. Like, he pushed Gru to ask Lucy out. If anything, he wasn't the bad guy in this film. He was actually the good guy.
I just did a boom boom.
See, if these films are crazy inconsistent about one thing, that is Gru. Because I thought the entire point of that first movie was that he was a liability and he was never going to be amazing at anything, villainy in particular. So nobody outside his team supported him. So why was the second film El Macho asking him for help? And okay, fine, maybe Dr. Nefario put a good word for him, but his brother glazing him up with all this hype. And I think he also mentioned that his dad was like, Gru is better than him or something, which yeah, he is, because this guy's a terrible villain. Regardless, we get a deeper dive into the Gru lore and find out he has a brother, a twin for that matter, called Drew. Steve Carell, the accent and the voice you're putting on in these films, it was only bearable when it was only you, but now I'm hearing this.
I'm busting the gun.
Look at them! They had no idea!
This film is a bit different because he mainly focuses on Gru trying to get his job back after losing it, and probably the least interesting villain in this trilogy. Like, this guy's pushing 30 and he's still using his bad boy catchphrase. Where's the shame, bro?
I've been a bad boy.
And that's what I mean. Like, the usual films, he always had Gru trying to tackle this personal thing in his life. I know this one, basically, maybe it's his brother he's trying to tackle here, but really there's nothing, you know. I mean, him and his brother were getting along fine. It was only that entire mix-up that he lied to him and everything. It was nothing really as personal as the first two films. But as I just mentioned, he meets his brother and he tricks him about stealing this diamond thing because he wants to get his job back. But all his brother wants to be this big villain like his father. How didn't Gru know that was his father though, if his father was such a big villain and also had a bald head and also just looked like him? And see, I don't think the Gru brother stuff was all bad. I did like it at the start where you see them having that first initial bond and them just doing all this property damage because of 2 lollipops. Wait, hold on. Yeah, that guy's going to prison. He's going to jail.
Bang, see you later, you go in prison. You go in prison. And you're getting named and shamed.
But outside of the bonding moments, I never really enjoyed the Gru stuff. I think I favored the other story points, like the minions going to this American Got Talent or something. Was hoping that they would get to be superstars and like fly the world. I don't know. But nope, they went to prison. And the prison moment sort of reminded me of Paddington 2 and the breakout parts of Chicken Run. This is the movie, I can't lie, out of all the I don't know all the Minion films, but out of all the Despicable Me films, this is the only one that I will say bang on. They nailed that Minion side plot really well. Besides the other thing I'm going to talk about, it was the best part of this film, and really the only time they actually had a story for themselves in a Despicable Me movie. It's usually something tying to the movie. Yeah, it ties to the movie at the end, but like the entire segment was just for them. And also Lucy trying to be this better mother. That's the second thing I was coming to. It was always so sweet to see Margot trying to help her, but she was just in her own detriment. And that same guy comes back and pulls up with his mom. But we see Lucy come and stick it up to her. Lucy was the real MVP in this movie. She was a superstar. And maybe she stole all that aura that Gru had in that second movie. And it was just pushed onto Lucy in this. But she was tied up again by the antagonist. Gru, personally, I will not be having that. In back-to-back films, they're tying a girl up. I do not think this film is bad though. It definitely has its moments. But the fact that Gru was not those moments, it really does not help. And also the fact that they also tried to double down on that first film. I don't know. I feel like they tried to double down on that first film and really give us this bad guy that's mainly involved in the plot. But it just doesn't live up to that charm of Vector or even the charm of the second guy. Overall, these films are fun, and I guess if you have kids, they'll probably have more fun watching this than you will. But what do you expect? It's freaking Despicable Me. Thank you for watching. Watch another video of mine. Bye.